important project. My dear sister Nafisa Shafi from the UNICEF, Bintabari from the National Economics of UNDP, Telma from the UN Habitat, Mohamed Sise, President of Galga and the Chairman of the Basse Area Council, Deputy Mayor of the Banjul City Council, the CEO of the Banjul City Council, councillors here present, districts, invitees, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly respected and observed. Allow me also to recognize the Rafaela National Coordinator, Madam Aissatou Ndiaye. Good morning and a warm welcome to each and everyone that gathered here today for this fourth ever important stakeholder consultation meeting on volunteer local review, VLR. As mayor of the city of Banjul, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you as we embark on this significant journey together. Today marks a pivotal moment in our city's development as we gather to review our progress, assess our challenges, and most importantly, seek your valuable input to shape the future of the city of Banjul. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you a story about my first term in office. When I was elected as the mayor of the city of Banjul, planning and managing the city to transform it to a modern and vibrant city was not only challenging, but also seems impossible. I asked questions to the technical staff, yet none seemed to understand me. I needed data to effectively plan and manage the city in an inclusive manner, leaving no place and no one behind. I needed to ensure we localize the sustainable development goals because I understood that almost all the SDGs can only be achieved if they are localized. I can tell you I could not make valuable headway due to lack of data that deter me from understanding what goal, where, and how to prioritize. It was a struggle. Today, with support from UN Habitat, we have engaged this process. And I am certain that with your support, we are going to get this volunteer local review in place, which will be our guide. The results are not only to assist us in prioritizing our development goals, but also in ensuring that the SDGs are localized. Because as you may well know, the SDGs are localized through an inclusive process. Remember, every development is local, and the SDGs cannot be achieved if they are not localized. The volunteer local review presents our commitment to transparency, inclusivity, and collaboration. It is an opportunity for us to collectively reflect on our achievements thus far and to identify areas where we can do better. Your presence here underscores your dedication to the growth of our city and your belief in a localized approach towards community demand-driven and sustainable development. Our partner, UN Habitat, is well represented here. Mr. Telman, thank you for coming to support us. As you can see, Banjul is a beautiful city. I hope you stay long enough to enjoy your sunny and sandy beaches, our good food, and many more. When you go back to Nairobi, please do not forget to share your good experience here. Beautiful photos and nice stories about Banjul, and encourage your colleagues to come over for their vacation. It's nice out here, as you can see. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the course of today's session, We will engage in constructive dialogue aimed at refining our priorities, enhancing our projects, and ensuring that our planning aligns with the aspiration of all Banjulians. Your insights, suggestions, and inputs are not only welcome, but essential to the success of this endeavor. Together, we will chart a common cause that leads to a more sustainable, resilient, and prosperous Banjul. Let us seize this opportunity to forge stronger partnership, to foster innovations, and to build a city that we can all be proud of. I look forward to our discussions today and tomorrow, and to the positive outcomes that will undoubtedly emerge from our collective efforts. Thank you once again for your commitment and dedication to the future of Banjul. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to acknowledge the strides we have made as a city. From infrastructure improvements, women and youth empowerment, sustainable environment, and social progress, to name a few. Each achievement represents a step forward in our collective journey towards prosperity. The volunteer local review allows us to celebrate these successes while also recognizing the challenges that remain. Our city has undergone significant transformative developments in recent years, including digitalization of revenue collection, the modernization of waste management, the greening of the city, the fight against climate change, economic empowerment of women, building the capacities of the youth, to name but these a few. You can bear with me that all these are done in an inclusive manner. These efforts have not only improved the quality of life for our residents, but have also positioned Banjul as a leading city in the localization of the SDGs. However, we must also acknowledge that there is still much work to be done. Critical issues such as climate change that made us experience the worst flooding in Banjul in 2002, gender inequality that has made us have only one female mayor since the introduction of local government administration, lack of vocational institutions to ensure our youth have skills to create employment, and lack of women cooperative banks to guarantee their economic empowerment. All these required our immediate attention and concerted efforts. Today, I urge each of you to reflect on challenges and to share your ideas on how we can address them effectively. Your perspectives are invaluable as we strive to build a more inclusive and sustainable Banjul. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, it is essential that we prioritize our efforts based on a clear understanding of our community's needs and aspirations. The insights gathered at the end of these 2 days consultative forum will inform our decision-making process and ensure that our resources are allocated where they are most needed. Our priorities must be guided by the principles of equity, sustainability, and resilience. We must continue to invest in local infrastructure like technical and vocational education sector, health centers, capacity building initiatives, as well as microfinance for women and girls to create opportunities for all Banjulians to thrive. Moreover, we must remain vigilant in our efforts to protect our environment and to mitigate the impacts of climate change. I encourage each of you to think critically about our priorities and to propose innovative solutions that can propel us towards our shared goals. Together, we have the power to shape the future of Banjul and to build a city that is not only prosperous, but also inclusive and resilient. Distinguished invitees, the success of our endeavors depends heavily on the strength of our partnership, both within our community and beyond. Collaboration is key to overcoming challenges and achieving sustainable development. Today's gathering is a testament to our commitment of working together towards a common vision for Banjul. I call upon each of you to consider how we can strengthen our partnerships and leverage our collective resources for the greater good. Whether you represent a community, organization, a business, a partner in development, or a government agency, our collaboration is essential to the success of our city. Together we can achieve far more than any one of us can accomplish alone. Let us use this opportunity to forge new connections, to share knowledge and expertise, and to explore innovative approaches to addressing our city's most pressing challenges. By working together, we can build a stronger, more resilient Banjul that serves as a model for sustainable urban development. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for taking the time to participate in today's Stakeholders Consultation Forum. Your presence here today demonstrates your commitment to the future of Banjul and your belief in the power of collective action. As we move forward, I am confident that the deliberations of these 2 days forum will yield valuable insights and recommendations that will shape our city's future. Your feedback will be carefully considered as we refine our projects, prioritize our initiatives, and set the course for Banjul's continued development. Together, we have the opportunity to create positive change. We build a city that is inclusive, sustainable, and resilient. Let us harness the momentum generated during this period and continue to work together towards a brighter future for all Banjulians. Thank you once again for your dedication, your passion, and your commitment to our city. I look forward to our continued collaboration and to the achievements that lie ahead. Together, let us make Banjul a city that we can all be proud to call home. Thank you, UN Habitat, for the support. Thank you, my dear brother Telman. We truly appreciate, and we are looking forward for the $1 million to reach Banjul for our quick development. We really need it. And I thank you all for your time and attention. Thank you.
It's a privilege actually to be sharing the dais with Honorable Loe, the Mayoress of Banjul, extremely dynamic and fantastic leadership. I also acknowledge our colleague from Mamadou Cissé. I did not know about your other designation. I only know you as Councillor of Chairperson of Basse Council, who himself is a young leader and extremely dynamic. I would also like to acknowledge my UN colleagues, Telman and Binta from UNDP. I would like to acknowledge Madam Aisa, the Rafala coordinator, and ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. It is actually a privilege to be part of this discussion today under the, as I say, dynamic leadership of our Mayoress, because only yesterday I would like to share that UNICEF internally we were looking at different data. We have done, you know that, right? Yeah. So we have done a multiple overlapping deprivation analysis of children, and it was striking to see how Banjul and Kombo are white, whereas some of the regions like CRR and URR, we have a lot of work to do. And we took a number of deprivation indicators where we realized that 1 in every 10 children in the country are facing multiple deprivation. And when we talk about deprivation, it is essentially what Madam just mentioned, right to health, nutrition, social protection, right to many other aspects. Which means it tells us that we have a long way to go in terms of achieving the sustainable development goals in this country. Now, I would also like to mention here that 50% of the entire population, about 50%, precisely 49.4% of the entire population are children below the age of 18, which means we need to really focus. We cannot achieve SDG without focusing on children. And that's why I really appreciate the idea of the smart city, of the child-friendly city, because those are the groundbreaking ideas, not only to implement in Banjul, but taking it to the rural areas, taking it to the other urban areas like Basse, where we can really replicate the model which is being successful, or really showing the path on how to achieve SDGs. About 1/5 of the SDG indicators are directly related to children and young people, but indirectly all the indicators. So that's why it is important that we focus on children and young people. By the way, if we take young people, about close to 70% of the entire population of the Gambia are actually under the age of 35. So we need to really be mindful of the initiative. This voluntary local review is a fantastic, really bottom-up approach, which is the principle of SDG and UN. However, I think I would strongly advocate for engaging young people, children in this review, so we hear them. Because remember, the planet that we are living today, we have not borrowed it from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from children, and the children who are even yet to born. So it's very important that we engage them in this process. We, as UNICEF, we also promote this ideology or a concept which is called child-friendly local governance, which is extremely important and very similar to the smart city or child-friendly city, that because it goes by the SDG indicators, and then engaging all the stakeholders to make sure the SDG goals are being met. I would like to pick on some of the, or highlight some of the areas that Honorable Mayoress mentioned: climate change, gender equality, livelihood, particularly related to children and young people, engaging them in these areas. And she also mentioned about the deprivation from health and other rights. And these all are extremely important areas where Gambia is not doing too well, but we are under the leadership of, dynamic leadership of the Mayoress, but all other leaders in the country, and up to the subnational level, like our dynamic chairperson of the Basse Council. I think it's important that we highlight these areas where we can do a little more better. I would like to really conclude by saying that what is important here is to create bridge between the rights holders, like the children, young people, and citizens of the country, and also the duty bearers, like the Mayoress and all other ministers, also Honorable President, everyone who are the ultimate duty bearers of realizing the SDG goals. I think this is a platform which is kicking off really a groundbreaking work to engage the people from the grassroots, which is very important. And my plea to my colleague, for Telman, to say that next time maybe we should take it forward by engaging more young people and children. With that note, I would really like to thank the organizers. I would like to thank our UN sister agencies who are contributing and making this happen, and of course, again, the dynamic leadership of our Mayoress. I would like to say that with all these happening, I am very confident that with the support of UN and other stakeholders, the Gambia will make it happen, maybe not by 2030. I don't want to sound...
And Assalamu alaikum, Honorable Mayor Roy Malik Low, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning to all of you. Thank you very much for coming in today, and thanks for shaping the future of Banjul for the upcoming decade and upcoming years as well. 8 billion population. Current urbanization trends indicated that additional 3 billion people will be living in cities by 2050, increasing the urban share of the world's population by 2/3. More cities are identified as the locus of change and the venue where policies and actions are mobilized. As a summary, 65% of all the SDGs are either won or lost in the cities. The mayor has mentioned that all the SDGs, they are actually to be localized to achieve by 2030. But there was also an analysis of the different mandates of the local and regional governments globally, and the result of this is showcasing that actually 65% it is directly mandated to the responsibilities of local and regional governments, meaning we cannot achieve those SDGs without the involvement of local communities and local and regional governments. However, colleagues, poor planning, the absence of multi-level governance systems and legal frameworks, fragile institutions, low capacity of local and regional governments, and the lack of sound monitoring mechanisms, lack of data, diminish the possibility of promoting integrated and long-term sustainable urban development. More and more cities understand the effect of voluntary local reviews, which I will dive deeper into my presentation, what these are and what we are aiming to achieve also with the VLR of Banjul. But more and more cities are embarking on the VLR journey. So 3.5 years ago, in mid-2020, we were counting between 40 and 50 VLRs globally, and we were not yet clear how far this global movement would have reached, but we knew that something big is coming. 4 years later, right now, we are counting more than 300 VLRs from 51 countries and 202 cities, representing the work and aspirations of 450 million people. But that's not all, colleagues. VLRs have opened new opportunities for cities to engage in the global arena, placing localization at the center of many international decision-making processes. And dear friends, UN Habitat has been at the forefront of these efforts since the very endorsement of the 2030 Agenda and even before. We have created one of the most comprehensive approaches towards SDG localization, from data collection to reporting and monitoring to long-term planning, strategies, and processes. Our commitment to supporting cities worldwide is rooted in strengthening their voice, resources, and capacities. As the Secretariat and permanent co-chair of Local 2030 Coalition, a UN-wide initiative to localizing the SDGs, we are dedicated to bridging the gap between UN system and local and regional governments to support their initiatives. Dear colleagues, I want to emphasize that today's event is truly groundbreaking. Devoting entire 2 days to exploring the critical intersection of your city and the SDGs is a remarkable achievement. Throughout the day, we will delve into a variety of essential topics, ranging from the pivotal role of cities to action-oriented voluntary local reviews and SDG localization efforts of Banjul. We will focus on the implementation of the SDGs in Banjul. This day represents an opportunity for a meaningful dialogue and collaboration, setting the stage for impactful progress towards our shared sustainable future. Thank you again, and I wish you all fruitful discussion. Thanks a lot. To also take the opportunity to introduce two of my colleagues that unfortunately couldn't make it here today in Banjul, but they are closely monitoring the process as well. So this is UNECA, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa representative, Ms. Lusungu Kayani, and Jürgen Gafke from United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. They are sending the greetings, and they are also closely monitoring the results of this discussion as we are supporting the city of Banjul for the VLR development collectively within the UN family. And yeah.
Capital city of the Gambia, Mayor Malik Lowe, the UNICEF country representative, distinguished councillors, and distinguished invited guests. I know this is not part of your program. My name is Almami Fanding Tal. I represent an organization called the Kairaba Conservation and Leadership Organization. I know those of you who were born after independence would know that this year, 2020 of 1977, named after our capital city. And we felt that in the centenary year of Sadauda, it's very important that the declaration that he made almost 50 years ago in the name of our city to prepare not only Gambia but the whole world about the climate crisis that was coming on. It was not possible around the birthday itself, which was 16 May, to make a presentation to a leader who has been engaged since her assumption of office in fighting for a smarter, cleaner, a better city than the mayor of our capital city, and the first elected woman. Make it very short. Your Lordship, we came today, the Kairaba Conservation and Leadership Organization, to present to you a personalized version of the Banjul Declaration. We believe that this is a blueprint for transformation of our relationship between the planet and its resources. We believe that to fight climate change, not only cities but every leader must take a similar commitment that Sadauda took all those years ago. So we are very pleased that it's coinciding with a very important event of localizing the SDGs. We are very pleased also to inform this August gathering that on the 26th of July, which is also World Mangrove Day, we will be starting our own Climate Action Week, the Kairaba Gambia Climate Action Week. We will be planting trees, which is probably the easiest and most effective way to combat the amount of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. The effort would be led by the Vice Chairperson, Mrs. Ramzia Diab Ghanim, former ambassador to Southeast Asia and Malaysia, and the former First Lady, Chilel Jawara, Sadauda's would be highlighted during the Climate Action and Conservation Week that Kairaba Conservation is. So without taking any much introduce the members of the Board of Trustees. Like I said, Ms. Diab is the Vice Chairperson. Ms. Aissatou Gilen is a Board of Trustee member. Mr. Abdoulaye Danso, a retired public servant, is also a board member.
Greatly for you people to be here today, simply because when we talk about the Banjul Declaration, it definitely has to do with the SDGs, because this was all about climate change. And the vision of Sadauda was to see, he understood at that time that there will be a time when the issue of climate change will be the topic of the wall. Can you imagine 1977? Some of you were not born. Even though I was very young, I wouldn't say how old I was then, but you wouldn't imagine that his vision will be the talk of the wall today. So we are so very proud of him. Banjul is very, very committed. And once upon a time, I was in the UN, and they were talking about the 1977 Banjul Declaration Act. So I stood up in front of everybody, and everybody was looking at me like, why is he standing up? I said, hello, you're talking about my city. Yes, you are talking about my city. And everybody was saying, ah yes, Banjul, Banjul. So everybody appreciate that he was talking about something that by then people wouldn't understand, that he is seeing the future. So this is a man that we are so grateful to, that we inspired, that he inspired us a lot as young people. And you, the group here, we cannot say thank you very much for bringing back these memories to us. We are committed and we are behind you 100%. Thank you so much.
Very much for the opportunity to speak to this very important event today. I do apologize for the tardiness of my presence. There were different concurring events at the same time requiring my presence. So until I have the ability of splitting myself in many persons, I need to come, I will come to each and every event. So thank you very much, Professor, for that. Lord Mayor, Your Worship, Mayor Rohi Malik Loe, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed and respected. Good morning, or rather good afternoon. I am very honored to join you today at this crucial stakeholder consultation for the development of the action-oriented voluntary local review for the city of Banjul. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the Mayor's office and to all the entities involved in organizing this important event. We gather here today in the city of Banjul, a city that embodies both the challenges and immense potential of urban centers in our pursuit of sustainable development. With 6 years away from 2030, the urgency of our mission intensifies. The global statistics are very stark. Only 17% of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, are on track worldwide. This underscores the critical need for the SDGs accelerators and keeping the SDG promise here in the Gambia. Yet, in our cities and communities, the battle for sustainable development will be won or will be lost at some point. I want to acknowledge the tireless work and dedication of the Gambia's local authority in pursuing the 2030 agenda. Your and commitment to the success of the Sustainable Development Goals at the local level are both inspiring and crucial. Like many coastal cities, Banjul faces unique challenges and opportunities as well. The threat of rising sea level, the extreme impact of erratic weather patterns, the pressure of rapid urbanization are not abstract concepts, they are daily realities. Over the next 2 days, but within these challenges lie opportunities for transformative change. The Voluntary Local Review, VLR, we are developing is a very powerful tool for change and for transformation. By aligning our local priorities with the global sustainable development goals, we create a roadmap for action that can accelerate our progress toward the 2030 agenda and goals. For instance, the Sustainable Development Goals 11 on sustainable cities and communities and the Sustainable Development Goals 13 on climate action are particularly crucial for the city of Banjul. The predicted sea level rise threatens to inundate Banjul and its port, groundwater resources, and ecosystem. The temperature and sea level rises also pose higher risk of flooding, droughts, coastal erosion, of course, of food insecurity, damage to infrastructure, and losses for tourism and fishing. Through this VLR process, we can identify specific actionable steps to address issues like flood management, sustainable urban planning, and climate-resilient infrastructure. This action will contribute directly to accelerating our progress on multiple fronts and on SDGs. The United Nations system is fully committed to supporting Banjul and the Gambia in this journey. Our collaboration, bringing together the expertise of UN Habitat, UNECA, and UNDESA, is a testament of the importance we place on the local action that is locally owned but globally connected. The pilot project here in Banjul is part of our broader initiative that includes Kanifing, Kuntar, and Brikama. Together, this effort will inform a comprehensive Sustainable Goals Localization Country Program for the Gambia, further accelerating our progress toward the 2030 agenda. But the success of this endeavor depends on the stakeholders gathered today here in this room. Each of you brings invaluable insights. Our local and national government official, you hold the key to the success of the implementation and of resource allocation. To the civil society leaders, your grassroots connections ensure that we leave no one, absolutely no one behind. To the private sector representative, your innovation and resources are vital for our sustainable solution. To the community members, your experience guides us toward real, impactful change. So over the next 2 days, as you review 51 indicators across 12 SDGs, remember that each data represents a story, a challenge to overcome, or an opportunity. Your discussion will shape not only a document, but also the future of the town of Banjul and will contribute to accelerating SDG progress across the Gambia. Therefore, I call upon each of you to engage actively in all discussions, bringing your unique perspective, to think boldly, out of the box, about innovation that can accelerate our progress, to commit to specific action within your spheres of influence to support the implementation of the voluntary local review findings, and to foster new partnership across sector to create synergies and maximize impact. By harnessing this quality and working together, we can transform Banjul into a model of sustainable urban development, not just for the Gambia, but for Africa and for the world. Let us seize this moment, turn our discussion into decisive action, and work tirelessly to ensure that when we look back in 2030, we can say with pride that Banjul led the way in localizing and accelerating the SDGs, creating more to turn the outcomes of the voluntary local review into tangible progress for the people of Banjul, but also for the Gambia. Thank you, Abaraka. Let's make these 2 days count and accelerate our journeys toward the SDGs. And thank you to all of you.